I realized that after the 7 years, my time is up. Yeah.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about Trevor Noah, the failed left-wing comedian whose time is up. Not my words, his words. Okay. Yes, his time is up because to me, I think he's been dumped. Dumped like a used condom from The Daily Show, a show that he took over from Jon Stewart and utterly ran into the ground. Okay. Because the guy was never that funny. He was never that funny. So his time was always gonna be up. Okay, the guy is not really a generational talent on the level of Jon Stewart, right? That was very apparent from the beginning, and it is still apparent today. So the only question is how and when are we gonna get rid of this guy? Because Trevor Noah is a so-called minority, okay? And when it comes to so-called minorities, you can't fire him any type of way, okay? Or else you'll be accused of racism, right? This is why CNN, in order to fire Don Lemon, they basically told him that, hey, we're going to move you to the morning show, right? They gave him a demotion, right? They gave him a demotion. Now, look how they fired Brian Seltzer. They didn't just fire him. They also fired his team and gave him a week to get out, right? To get out. Again, they gave Don Lemon a demotion. Now, with The Daily Show, I believe that they're letting Trevor Noah quit, right? Quit or be forced to quit, basically. Okay, go out on your own terms or go out with the shame of being fired. Okay, because this guy's already going to go out in shame. He's been exposed as a far left Democrat Party propagandist disguised as a failed late night comedian. Okay, that's what he is. He's a left wing propagandist. And because left-wing propaganda just is not funny, right? It's hard to make left-wing propaganda funny. Again, he has become one of a number of left-wing propagandists who failed. So, with that being said, I want to go ahead and roll the clip from Trevor Noah's Daily Show that basically shows him explaining his decision to retire. Take a look.
I realized that after the 7 years, my time is up. Hosting this show, it's been one of my greatest challenges. It's been one of my greatest joys. I've loved trying to figure out how to make people laugh, even when the stories are particularly on the worst days. I realized there's another part of my life that I want to carry on exploring. You know, I miss learning other languages. I miss going to other countries and putting on shows at Goodbyes. And it's not instant. I'm not disappearing. Don't worry. If I owe you money, I'll still pay you.
Yeah, so to me, again, that sounds more like I'm being pushed out the door, okay, rather than I quit. Even though that's what he's saying. He's saying he quits. He's retiring. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. Again, this guy was just not funny, right? He was obviously a left-wing Democrat Party propagandist. Now, sometimes he, attacked the Democrat Party. He went out of some of their buffoonery. But mostly he built his show based off attacking Trump, which is what a lot of these television networks, these late night comedians, they built their career off what they deemed as an easy target, just attack Trump. And that's all they did for 4 years straight. And once Orange Man is gone, as you can see, they fall apart. CNN has no audience anymore because Trump is out of office. They built their network off of let's attack Trump. And then look what happened to him. Look what happened. Same things happened to Trevor Noah, right? He built his career on attacking Trump, being a left-wing propagandist, and now that ride is over, they kicked him off, right? He's done. So let's read about this. Did he jump or was he pushed? Trevor Noah's reign on The Daily Show is coming to an end. The far-left comic made the announcement on Thursday's Comedy Central show. His work is done after reducing The Daily Show audience by about 75%. Trevor Noah is moving on. The media is treating the news with all the pomp and circumstance of a royal family transition. He changed television. He brought the show into the social media age. Left unsaid, he oversaw the show's dramatic ratings collapse. All right, so these are some of the recent ratings here, late night ratings. As you can see, Greg Gutfeld, number 1. What is this guy? Stephen Colbert, number 2. Jimmy Kimmel, number 3. And then all the way down here, at 13, you got Trevor Noah. 13 with 363,000 viewers. 363,000 viewers. Right. This guy is utterly failing. He's in last place. Literally last place, bruh. Last place. Oh, you think it's a coincidence that he decided to quit, right? Why he's at the bottom? No, he got fired, bruh. They kicked him to the curb. This guy was a disaster. He was a disaster. He destroyed this show, bruh. His legacy is going to be, the South African that took over the Daily Show. But nobody's going to talk about how he literally ruined it, right? He ran into the ground. Again, the evidence is in the number, bro. This dude was terrible. He was the worst. And that is why he is quitting, right? Or in my opinion, right, allegedly being forced to quit because his performance sucks. His performance sucks. Again, let that go to show. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. If your performance sucks, it's not going to save you, right? It's not going to save you. You're going to get let go. Because at the end of the day, what matters is the green. Trevor Noah was not bringing in the green because he's not getting the viewers. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Okay? So yeah, this guy is an embarrassment. Noah won't be missed, if only because his voice is already reflected in the remaining hard left shows. If Noah isn't around to mock President Donald Trump, Governor Ron DeSantis, or any other GOP politician, Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers, John Oliver, and Jimmy Kimmel will pick up the slack. Yeah, so this is a great point. There's too much competition in the liberal late night comedy marketplace, right? Because these people refuse to hire conservatives or to be balanced. They want to push one narrative, okay? They're all in collusion with the Democrat Party, these liberal media outlets. What happens is that it's too much competition. Everybody has a left-wing late-night comedian, right? Except Fox News, which so happens Greg Gutfeld is dominating the competition, right? I mean, he's just absolutely dominating. Why is that? It's because he's not competing in a divided market, okay? It's really just him and basically him. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the right. So, in my opinion, if Comedy Central was smart, they would hire somebody to compete with Greg Gutfeld, okay? They wouldn't hire a left-wing propagandist. They would hire an actual comedian who has more right-leaning views to compete with Greg Gutfeld because that market has no competition, right? Has no competition. So it'd be easy to get into that market and to grab a large share of the conservative market. That would be what's best for the bottom line of Comedy Central. However, the problem is that these corporations have allowed their political agenda to get in the way of their money, right? Of their profit. And you should never let your political agenda get in the way of your profits, right? Because look what happens when you do that. Look what happened to CNN. They put their political agenda over their profits. And now there's talks about them potentially being bought by Fox News.
I really am afraid of is that is honestly that they sell to Rupert Murdoch. I'm terrified of this. It is his white whale. And I think that it doesn't fit into Discovery's portfolio in a meaningful way. I've always been afraid of this. And the posture of making the platform more appealing, more attractive, more neutral, I think weakens it enough that they say, look, it's just not worth it. We didn't get the returns on investment. It hasn't turned the corner yet. I don't think they're going to get the audience gains that they think they're going to get, which is part of the strategy. And that's a real problem too. So at its core, I'm afraid that in the short term, we see some bad coverage out of them, some spots of bad coverage, which actually have bigger harms when it comes from CNN.
Which I don't know if it's necessarily a realistic thing, but I'm just saying, then they're trying to pivot to the middle, right? Well, why is that? Because the left-wing market is overly saturated. And this is why I love capitalism, guys. It's because capitalism is the great equalizer. There was no way that all these mainstream liberal media networks can all be left-wing and survive. It's just not going to happen, okay? It's not going to happen. And capitalism has now course corrected. You're seeing what is happening to these left-wing late-night comedians, okay? And you're seeing what is happening to networks like CNN. They've now been forced to try to be neutral because of capitalism, right? Again, like I said, if Comedy Central was smart, they would hire somebody to compete with Greg Gutfeld. And that is a good thing. The reason why it's a good thing is that the more people that enter that space means that space is going to get bigger. Competition creates better quality. Better quality creates a larger audience. It creates more of a demand. Okay, so this is exactly what needs to happen If Comedy Central was smart, they would in fact hire a actually funny, right-leaning comedian. And I think that would actually be a good thing. It'd be a great thing for them. It'd be a great thing for the conservatives in the culture war. But again, these companies have shown that they're not willing to put their profit above their politics, which ultimately, again, results in a situation like what is happening at CNN, where their network is epically failing, and shows like Trevor Noah's show, where it was the worst performing show on television, okay, in terms of his competition. And he ultimately ends up having to quit, okay, or being forced to quit. And Jimmy Fallon, whose Tonight Show now routinely ranks 4th in the late night landscape, will scrounge for their liberal scraps. The late night landscape is changing. We recently watched as TBS cut ties with Samantha Bee, and James Corden previously announced he's leaving the world of late TV behind. It's hard to deny a key reason for these industry changes. Greg Gutfeld, the Fox News superstar, entered the late night fray April 2021 and is now the highest rated show in that space. Gutfeld's audience dwarfs Noah's TV flock, and the Daily Mail may be the only mainstream outlet to highlight Noah's calamitous ratings. Where does Noah go next? It hardly matters. It's clear that the late night is undergoing a transformation. Any platform eager to stay in the late night game will be forced to bring more diverse hosts to the table following the loss of Noah, B, and Showtime's Desus and Moro. That diversity won't be ideological in nature, meaning it won't matter in a significant way. Ding, 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 ding. The diversity does need to be in ideology, right? We do have a diversity problem in this country. It's not the less diversity problem, which is race. It's actually a diversity in thinking problem, okay? It's a diversity in ideology problem. Everything is presented from a left-wing narrative. That is what everybody on mainstream liberal media is pushing. And that lack of diversity is what is hurting these people, right? Because again, they don't want a diversity of thought. They don't want that. They just want diversity of faces that all think the same. Noah's legacy is insignificant compared to his predecessor. Jon Stewart helped establish Comedy Central's Fox News template, bringing a left-leaning bias to small screens nationwide. Stewart's skill set lapped Noah's, no doubt, and the irresistible director launched the careers of Steve Carell, Ed Helms, Stephen Colbert, and more. Noah grew into the gig, but he never mastered that sense of outrage that Stewart brought to the goofiest headlines. The outgoing Daily Show host occasionally broke from the liberal pack, like when he mentioned President Joe Biden's monumental gaffe earlier this week, in which he asked for a dead person to speak up at a public event. Those moments were rare over his 7-year run. Noah also felt badly for Jussie Smollett, whose hate crime hoax paralyzed Chicago police and inflamed ideological tensions nationwide. He copied his liberal peers in conducting fawning chats with Democrats like Vice President Kamala Harris, more yawn-inducing TV that served no one save the progressive movement. Stewart is destroying his cultural legacy by going woke, courtesy of, quote, The Problem with Jon Stewart. On Apple TV Plus, Noah leaves the stage with very little legacy to protect. Facts. Again, this guy is a speck, right? He will be forgotten, unfortunately for him. But again, this is what happens when you build your brand based off one thing that is temporary, which is attacking Trump. And for as much as these people want him out of office, him leaving office is their demise. Because without Trump in office, these guys have nothing. They have nothing to offer whatsoever because they never had real talent in the first place, right? It doesn't take talent to attack Trump all day, even if you're doing late night comedy. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.